guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated book releases for the rest of 2024. So we're halfway through the year. I honestly can't believe it, and it's June and it's almost July, and I'm just like kind of panicking because I don't know where the time's gone. But I'm also really excited because there are so many books that are coming out. I have a list of 13 that I'm really excited for the rest of this year. And obviously there are books coming out in 2025 that I'm excited for, like the new Fourth Wing book and Hunger Games book. But I'm planning to make a separate like 2025 releases video. That way I can, talk about the new year ahead instead of just like half the year and then next year. So we're just going to be talking about the rest of 2024, so from about the end of June to December. Really excited for all of these titles, and so hopefully if you've heard of these you can get excited for them too if you didn't know they were coming out already. So let's get started. I will be talking about these chronologically. So the first one I have is called A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, and this comes out June 25th, 2024. So when I upload this, it should just be a couple days. And I've never read, actually, no, I have read something by this author. I've read Geekerella. I think that was the book she wrote. It's like a YA, kind of like nerdy book. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a twist on Cinderella, and it takes place at like a Comic-Con of sorts. I read this in like 8th grade, I think, and I really liked it. But then this author started writing more like adult romances, and her books get such high like ratings. Like I've heard such great things about her books, and I actually have one of her books, which is The 7-Year Slip, that I haven't read yet. I'm really planning to because so many people I watch talk about this book and they love it. So I'm really excited to get to that one. And then her new one, A Novel Love Story, has, first of all, the prettiest cover. Like it is so pretty. I'm so excited just because of the cover. But I think it also follows like an author. So it follows a professor of literature, and I think it's like a small town. Really, I don't know that much, but that's because I prefer to go in blind to most of my books. So apologies if my like explanations are not very good, but I just don't really want to know the synopsis. I really just want to go in blind and experience it myself. But I know it follows a professor of literature, and I think her name is Eileen. So sounds really cool, and of course the cover is adorable, like I've said. Next book on this list also comes out on June 25th, but that is Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren, and this is the one that's probably like top on my list. Like I've been thinking about this book ever since I knew of its existence. I don't know how long ago that was, but ever since I knew about it, I've been pumped because Tangled and like Rapunzel is like my favorite Disney movie ever, and like I'm literally Rapunzel. Like I love her, I want to be her. Like she is just amazing, and I just love that movie so much. So when I heard that there was going to be a like Tangled contemporary romance like retelling, I guess, I was like, sign me up. Like I'm so excited. And so I really don't know what the plot is going to be. I assume it's going to follow like kind of like a more sheltered girl, and she'll fall in love with this guy, and like maybe he'll be troubled, kind of like Flynn Rider is. But yeah, I really don't know that much about it, but I assume it's going to follow the plot of kind of like Tangled, since it's called Tangled Up in You. But again, the cover is just so cute. And I've also never read anything by Christina Lauren, but I've heard people love their books as well. And yeah, I'm just really pumped for this one. Definitely I'll be going to the bookstore to get it the day it comes out, because normally I wouldn't do that. Like if there's a new release I'm excited for, I'll try to get from the library, or I'll like wait until the hype dies down. But for this one, I definitely think I'm gonna go get a copy because I've been waiting for so long. So I'm really excited. I'm kind of nervous to see how I'll feel about it, but I think if I love Tangled, I'm gonna love this. So then the next one is called The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood, and this comes out on July 2nd of 2024. And once again, cute cover. There's a theme going on where all these books have super pretty or cute covers, so that's that interests me. But basically the summary of this is a recently deceased woman meets the one in the afterlife waiting room, scoring a second chance at life and love if she can find him on Earth before 10 days are up. So it sounds like a romance, but like with stakes, and just like a super interesting concept. Like I've never heard something like talk about the afterlife where like characters meet up and like it kind of is parallel to the real world, and like second chances. Like it sounds really interesting and really cool. And I feel like there's a lot you can play around with in this, so hopefully it's like written well, because I feel like things like this can kind of be like up in the air sometimes. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I haven't heard of this author or like anything related to it, so I don't know what I'll think about this, but I'm interested to give it a try just because the concept sounds super duper cool. Next on the list is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto, and this follows two string players, and they kind of have like a rivalry going on, but there's also a romance, and this comes out on July 16th, so a little bit to go, but I'm really excited for this one because I'm familiar with this author. I haven't read her other book, and this one interests me a lot because of the string players and just like that whole musical aspect, because I used to play viola, and so I'm interested to see like how it's written, like how it's described, because I haven't really read a book where like a string instrument like that is like a prominent part of the story. So hopefully it's written well, because I will be critiquing not too heavily, but I just hope it's done well, because you know how like in movies like there's an orchestra and you see people playing like the violin or something, and you just know they're not playing those notes, like they're literally just going like this. Like that's not how you play. So I'm hoping it's not like the same thing or like the movie equivalent of that. And just the whole rivalry thing between the characters sounds really interesting, because I think one is like a prodigy and the other's a student. Again, the cover is super beautiful. Alright, and then after that is Not for the Faint of Heart by Lex Croucher, who is also the author of Gwen and Art Are Not in Love. And I read this last year, actually the beginning of this year, like, you know, that little window, and I really liked this. This was a King Arthur retelling, and it was so funny. Like the characters were so just like silly, and like the found family, very, very well written, and just such a good time overall. And so I know that Not for the Faint of Heart follows, I think, the daughter of Robin Hood or something related to Robin Hood, and then she falls in love with this girl, and it sounds really interesting. And I really don't know like what actually like the plot is gonna be, but I think it involves a kidnapping and like that kind of fantastical aspect based on like the story of Robin Hood. I'm not too familiar with it. I just think this will be really fun, and hopefully it's as funny as Gwen and Art Are Not in Love, because I remember I laughed so hard and just like I was just giggling. Like it was just so much fun. So I'm excited to give another try to this author's book, because I don't really like read from the same author. Like I feel like I just read one book from them and I don't think of it unless it's like Sarah J Maas or something. So if I can like really enjoy an author, I'll definitely continue reading what books they put out, because I think that's so cool to like keep up with their releases. Okay, after that is called Us in Ruins by Rachel Moore, and this comes out September 3rd, and the cover for this is just beautiful. It's so pretty, and that's like the main factor for me to read this book, because really I don't know much about it, but on Goodreads it says it's an adventure rom-com, and it says Margot is on the quest to uncover and reassemble an ancient and cursed vase with the help of a boy who went missing in 1932, because it's the only way to put back together her broken heart. So it sounds like a missing artifact and like somewhat of a mystery, adventure, and a little bit of romance, and yeah, that is my cup of tea, and I am very much on board for this. Haven't heard anything about this author or this book in general, but yeah, I'm hoping it'll be like something really underrated. I don't really read much like adventure type like rom-com books, so I'm interested to give this a try. The next book is probably my other really most anticipated book of the rest of this year, because I have been waiting for this to come out for so long, because originally this book was self-published by the author, but it got picked up and it's being traditionally published, and I'm so excited. I really regret not buying it when it was self-published, because now you can't get that. It's like kind of like a, you know, a relic, but it's being traditionally published, so I'll get to go to the store and pick it up, and it's been like revised and stuff, so I'm so excited to see what I think about it. I've heard such great things, and I follow the author on Instagram, and I'm ready. But it's Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This comes out on September 17th, and it follows Eowyn, I think is the main character, and she's this runaway princess, but she has to team up with her kind of enemy, or just like reluctant allies. I really don't think they're enemies, but they have to team up to like stop the enemy kingdom, I think, and I know there's dragons and found family, and I'm so excited, because this book sounds like everything I love, and I'm really hoping I love it, because I have such high hopes. So hopefully I can tone those down before I start it, but I will be running to Barnes & Noble when this comes out. Like, I'm ready. Okay, next on the list is A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. I always say her name wrong. I feel so bad, but I just really don't know how to pronounce it. but I've read 2 books by this author so far and I really love her books. They're so good, they're so much fun, but her next release comes out on October 1st and it is definitely different than what she normally puts out. A epic historical fantasy about womanhood, war, sacrifice, and love against all odds. And I'm pretty sure it's kind of like a historical mystery type thing with romance, obviously. So this will be really different from what she normally puts out, but I signed up a long time ago to read every book that Ann Lang releases because I love If You Could See the Sun. I talk about it all the time. Well, not really, but just I love that book. And I'm really interested to see how she writes fantasy because sometimes when people write fantasy, I'm like, you know, like if they normally write contemporary stuff, but like sometimes it turns out really well, like Fourth Wing. Like Rebecca Yarros normally writes, I think, contemporary romance, and she wrote fantasy, and I love Fourth Wing. So I'm hoping the same is for Ann Lang because she's one of my like auto-buy authors, so I'm really excited for that. Also coming out on October 1st is Air by Sabaa Tahir. And I have not read the Ember in the Ashes series, but I really want to soon. So this is a, I think, fantasy romance duology coming out, and I'm really excited because there needs to be more duologies. I swear duologies are the best. But it says an orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who bring the empire to its knees. So that has me hooked. The cover, again, is beautiful. And I don't know much about this, but for fantasy like this, I really want to go in blind. Like, I don't want to know much. I want to get attached to these characters and just follow them on their journey. So I won't be saying too much about that. On October 15th, If I Stopped Haunting You by Colby Wilkins comes out, and this cover is so pretty. But I know this takes place in Scotland, at a haunted castle where 2 feuding writers end up on a writer's retreat. So it's enemies to lovers and it's like spooky, and I will definitely be reading this during spooky month, during Halloween time, because this sounds so perfect. Normally I don't read that much like horror or like scary books, but if it's with a romance, sign me up because that sounds like right up my alley. Like, I think I will love this book. And I really hope I do because it's set in Scotland and I love Scotland, so that's always a plus. Next is called Portia's Wrath by Emily Varga, and I really have no idea what this is about, but I think it is like a Count of Monte Cristo retelling, and I love the story of that. I've only read the movie, I haven't read the book just because it's so big, but this really interests me because I love kind of like the revenge story of Count of Monte Cristo, so I'm really interested to see like what happens in this, especially because I think it's a female main character, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. So I really don't know what like the actual plot of this is, but the cover's pretty, and I think it takes inspiration from like Pakistani mythology. If I'm not wrong, I definitely could be wrong about that, so forgive me, but that comes out October 29th. Okay, and then the last 2 on this list have actually already been published before, but they're either being re-released or coming out in a different format. So next is The Hurricane Wars by, I think it's Thea Guanzon. I'm definitely butchering that, but I'm sure everyone's like at least a little familiar with this book. It came out in hardcover a while ago and I have wanted to buy it for so long, but the hardcover was $30 and I could not justify that. But they're releasing the most beautiful paperback edition. I'll put a picture here, and I'm sold on that. Like, I'm really okay with not having that hardcover because the paperback is just gorgeous. And I think I'm gonna love this book because it's an enemies to lovers fantasy. It takes place in this world and it feels like really cutthroat. Like, something about the title, I guess, and like the vibes I'm getting makes it feel like really dark. So I definitely could be wrong about that, but I'm just really excited for this, and I have been, but I cannot spend $30 on a book. I feel so bad for doing that because like I need to support authors. Like, I want to be an author one day, but I can't do that. So this gorgeous paperback will be coming home with me on November 5th is when it comes out. Last book is a re-release. It was, I think, originally self-published too, but it's getting picked up, and that is the Bridge Kingdom series by Danielle L. Jensen, and I'm actually still currently reading the Bridge Kingdom, but the second book, called The Traitor Queen, comes out on November 12th, and they're getting new covers and everything, so that's kind of sad because my Bridge Kingdom copy won't match with the rest of the books if I decide to own them. But that's okay because at least I'll still get to read it, you know? I like the Bridge Kingdom, so I can pick up the Traitor Queen, but I wanted to note that because so far I'm enjoying that book, and I hope I do enjoy the rest of it so that I can get this book when it comes out, which will be November 12th. So those are all the books I'm really anticipating coming out for the rest of 2024. I'm really excited for all of them and hopefully I can get to all of them. Highly doubt I will get to all of them in 2024, but I'm excited for when they come out because I will be either running to the bookstore or trying to get it through the library. But no matter what, I'll be reading them. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed and I hope you got some inspiration and a good recommendation from this video. I know I'm not good at explaining like book synopsis, but I just don't want to know that much before I go into the books. That's just how I like to do it. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!